Hello, dears, and I'm broadcasting you this episode from Bengal. So, in Bengal, in the run-up to the next legislative assembly that is due early in the next year, the BJP and the elite voices have clamored for the implementation of CAA. Initially, they were saying that CAA and NRC process will be done in West Bengal, and then illegal people who are purged into the West Bengal polity will be ejected, and the justice will be delivered to the indigenous people of West Bengal. So later, when the NRC issue or NRC, the final list of NRC came out from Assam, the BJP have withdrawn their argument for conducting NRC in West Bengal, and then in the last week, Kailash Vijayraghaviya, the General Secretary in charge of West Bengal, BJP General Secretary in charge of West Bengal, has reiterated in a press conference will be going for CAA. So BJP has backtracked from their earlier position of conducting CAA as conducting NRC in West Bengal, and let alone a pan in the implementation of NRC. So why there is a change, fundamental change in the policy of BJP and then allied forces? Because we have to understand that unlike Congress, there is consistency in RSS affiliated organizations, just like BJP, Mazdoor Sangha, and all other organizations that is ideologically linked to the RSS. So why, even though there is ideological affiliation and there was an ideological emphasis of conducting NRC in West Bengal, why the West Bengal went back on their promise to the people? So here it's very important. The earliest lessons that BJP studied or BJP understood from Assam experience is worthwhile, and that's compelled them to rethink on the issues of implementing NRC nationwide. So let me just tell you some things that have arisen after one anniversary of publishing the updated NRC list in Assam. So we know in August 31 was the final date given by the Supreme Court to publish the final NRC list in Assam. So according to the process, it was completed, and out of 33 crore people, 1.9 crore people have been excluded from, and 1.9% of people have been excluded from the NRC list. So why? And there was before the process started, and a lot of people, especially with communal angle, had derised the Muslim community of constituting a major chunk of illegal migrants in Assam. So in Assam, there is a division between ethnic communities and the migrant communities, and the migrant people are called Mia or Mia Muslim or Mia Bengali. So this is the derogatory term used to denote those illegal migrants that came to West Bengal after West Bengal was integrated into British province 1826 after the defeat of Ahom kings, who were the rulers of the Assam. So then British integrated or British merged the Assam into the British provinces. So then British came to know that the land is fertile and there is abundance of water, but the one thing that Assam lacks, and that prevents the infrastructural agricultural development of Assam, that is adequate. There is no adequate workforce, and this thought compelled the British people or the colonial British masters to encourage migration from thickly populated Bengal Delta and Bengal and Brahmaputra and then Ganga plains into Assam. So people started to pour into the Assam provinces, and later when this started, it was the census of 1933 or the census proceedings of 1933 first indicated the threat these migrant people constituted to the indigenous people of Assam. So from there, this hikes grew wider and wider, and then a lot of issues got on. And when the Assam became the rule of Muslim League in pre independent era, the Sanaullah, the chief minister, actively encouraged the Muslims to come from Bengal to Assam, then settle in Assam plains, and thus the Muslim community will get access to the fertile soil. So, and there is a lot of migrant histories that you want. And the 1971 war was very watershed moment when we study the Assamese population construction. So during that period, a lot of people from West Bengal, it is assumed a lot of people from West Bengal and came to India to escape the cruel repression by the Pakistani force who are seemed to be losing the battle. So a lot of people crossed the border and then they came to India. So later they settled in various parts of Assam, and thus now around 35% of the Assamese population is Muslim, and that is a grave concern for BJP-like parties, because if a community comes to hold around 35% of its state population, that community have a wider command on a lot of electoral issues, and that's why for a long period. And when the Bardolai was the chief minister, and after that when Tarun Gogoi became the chief minister and he is no more, and there was a lot of effort to do something with illegal migrants, and then it was and then a process in 1985 there was Assam Accord between Rajiv Gandhi and then Assam Gana Parishad's leader Mahulla Prafanda, and then Assam state government. So this tripartite agreement was end to the long very violent ethnic clashes that Assam witnessed. So we often the Assam ethnic movement is often synonymous with attacking innocent Muslims, like the 1982 Nelly massacre, in which more than 2,000 Muslims were killed by the ethnic mob who were infuriated in the economic and social development of the Muslims. And then after that again due to the bureaucratic and political tussle, the process didn't take and then it was on morbid state. Then Supreme Court intervened on the issue, and it was under the peddling of Supreme Court, and finally the state government started to implement this NRC, and BJP in 2016 came to the power for the first time, and it was the first state in Northeast to come under the sway of BJP, and then they started to implement the NRC process. And then a lot of things were done, and finally the report was published. Around 40 people were excluded in the beginning, and later there was a time for re-verification, and then on August 31 the final list was released. So here, okay, that is what we know. Now I want to discuss from this point. So why this process, what the Indians have to study, have to understand from this long mammoth process of identifying the people, their originality, their legacy, data, and everything. So I will number for you for your convenience. So first thing, first it helped to dispel the myth that Muslims are the aggressor, or Muslims constitute the majority illegal migrants to the Assam and West Bengal states. So it helped to dispel this myth, and the data have shown that the Muslims actually they have come even before the independence period, and if we look the composition of the excluded people, we can understand that okay, religion wise data of excluded people from NRC is not released, but our assumptions say that more than 2/3 people are Bengali Hindu community, and only 1/3 is the Muslim community. So it helped to dispel the myths that the Muslims are constitute majority infiltrators into the country, and that's one thing. And second thing, then, so it was hoped that this process will help ameliorate or allay the ethnic fears in Assam, but instead new studies shows that New studies show that it has exacerbated the dormant animosities and rivalries in the Assam. So let's think about it. Now we can say the state is going to election next year. So we can see a lot of heated activity around the NRC. The BJP is saying that they want a re-verification of the NRC, and some people say that the process should be scrapped, and the indigenous groups also saying that the entire process, it's okay, but the CA, we will not allow the implementation of CA. CA actually allows the Hindu migrants who are excluded from the list to be integrated into the Indian polity. That means citizenship will be given to the Hindus who are excluded from the list. So the second very important thing is the ethnic clashes or the ethnic rivalries existing between these communities have exacerbated, and there is a lot of studies show that there is now going back, and the mutual trust deficit between the communities have widened, and there is a sore point, or there is a lot of clash issues that communities are nurturing or harboring very secretly. And the third very important point is this has exposed the divisions among the Muslims. So if we study that, there is around 1 point, that means around more than 1 crore, 1 crore and 30 lakh, around 1 crore and 30 lakhs Muslims in Assam. So among these, only 40% of the total population regarded as indigenous Muslim. Indigenous Muslims, those are the Muslims who belong to the indigenous tribes and later was converted to Islam due to the activities of a lot of Sufis who were very active in the area. So now we can say, and now the BJP is playing a very sectarianism among the Assami Muslim. So in 2019-20 budgets, the Assam state government has introduced a special board for the development of indigenous Muslim. So the communal forces are trying to drive a wedge among the Muslim communities to nurture their political ambitions. So and the fourth very important thing, and that is very important reflection on why BJP has changed their political stance after the final list of NRC was announced. That means the process of announcing the NRC and then conducting the NRC will open a Pandora's box, and that will lead to more problems than the NRC is supposed to solve. So that is a realization the political parties have gotten, and according to that, in West Bengal they have said that we will not be implementing NRC, but we will be doing an CAA to get Mathua community voting for the BJP. We know the Mathua community in the border areas, one of the dominant community who have migrated from the West Bengal. So here this is the issues that are going on. Now one more thing, so there is what will happen to the excluded people. That is the thing we have to think. Though India is very known for the human justice and the social justice and human rights ensured to all sections of the community. So what will happen to the people who are supposedly excluded from the list? So first thing, we have to understand that India has since signed or ratified any international agreement regarding the migrants or migrant repatriation, and that's why India is not bound to follow any international convention. But here we have to understand that what will happen to the excluded people. There is two possibilities, and before we discuss the possibilities, the first thing, now the detailed legacy data is to be issued. That means the people have the opportunity to go to the High Court and they can quote the foreign code, but unless they are issued with the legacy data that the NRC, the officials have, they could not go, and government is yet to release this data, and that's prevent the excluded people from going to the court. And second, the Modi government is constructing a lot of foreign tribunal cells, and the people who are excluded will be incarcerated in these cells. The another very important thing, and we know India has very cordial relation with Bangladesh, but after the NRC process was announced, Bangladesh have started drifting away from the influence of India, and that is a huge setback for India in international relations. And these are the things that we have to understand that. And as rightly pointed out by a lot of people and a lot of activists, now we have to insulate politics from the Assam process, or from the political process of identifying who are the real citizens, who are the migrants, and then let the people come together and let the nation be diverse by the intermingling of various communities and religions and people. And that is the only solution and for the issues that is engulfing the entire nation. And we need to insulate politics from the process and let the people come together, and then only through intermingling of people we can cultivate a sense of brotherhood, fraternity, and integrity, and that only will help the nation to progress through the difficult phases that she is going through. So that's all. See you again.